Kyoto's hidden temples blow the famous ones away. Coming up, 5 secret sanctuaries worth your time, and also 2 tourist traps, so maybe not consider going. So let's dive in. I'm Eric, and I'll rate each spot on 4 quick metrics. Atmosphere, visual impact axis, and also the zen-factor, each out of 10. Let's get straight into it. First, Saihō-ji, or Kokedera, in the west of Kyoto. So this one gets a 9 out of 10. The legendary moss temple, or Saihō-ji, clocking in at a 9 out of 10. Yes, you do need an advanced ticket reservation. But some kids just under 12 are banned. So unfortunately, you cannot go with children under 12 years old. I'm sorry, that's how it works in Japan. And yes, the ticket is pricey, but the moment you copy that sutra in total silence, the pen strokes, the wind in the trees, the heart-thumping background, the tiny construction noises, okay, that doesn't really exist. You understand why Steve Jobs called this place, sacred inspiration. You can invent your own Apple iPhone sitting on the benches. But it's not just about the sutra and the benches alone. Step outside and it's basically moss heaven. 120 shades of green, to be exact. It's all wrapped around an ancient pond. Whispered quiet shutters, big click. All you can hear is on the ground. Cricket noises, whatever. Come burdened, leave unburdened. Anyway, so the only downside of this temple is that while the tickets are a bit pricey, it's a bit far and inconvenient and out of place. There's no convenient transit line to walk at least 2 miles, so be ready to take a bus. Overall, 9 out of 10, and we'll totally visit again. Sanzen-in, 9 out of 10. In the northeastern mountains of Kyoto, there lies a hidden gem called Sanzen-in, which is also a 9 out of 10. And when I look, took my best photo. Come on, the red bridge is pretty beautiful. But let's ignore that. Deep in rural Ohara, flowers explode every single June. 2 red bridges flow in forest perspective each. You can dump coins into the statues that hold bowls as well, but otherwise seeming to hover above the treetops. So photographers, you must charge your batteries. Right now, this garden isn't your memory card's worst nightmare in the best way. There are a few downsides, however. The main concern is concerning transit, because you have to take an hour of a cab to get there from anywhere in Kyoto. No, it's just like that. Though it's recommended to visit Nanzen-ji or Eikandō before you visit Sanzen, but that's closer, but we'll explain those 2 later. A final downside is that it's a bit inconvenient and out of place. But again, the town has basically everything from markets, and the thing is that there's going to be a lot of people when you visit in the summer. And a lot of people. So for this one, crowd flow detracts from the experience. But overall, it's a great place, and I totally recommend it. Next up is Eikandō, an 8 out of 10. Right next to Nanzen-ji. This one actually blew me away more than it should, because at first, it doesn't really seem like a big temple or anything impressive. But when you walk inside, you'll surely see the charm of this temple. Because picture stacked hallways linked by breezy wooden corridors, each balcony framing Kyoto's hills like a postcard. Down the curved covered staircase is an architectural poetry in cedar. You'll never see this anywhere else in Japan. I just want to say that hallways are truly a masterful sight to behold, and this is why I'd recommend visiting Eikandō. You can also see the entirety of Kyoto, as already said, but otherwise, this is an incredible temple. It also has an elevator, if that's your charm. Something modernity built into there. But otherwise, the other thing is that it's really convenient. Only a few minutes walk away from Nanzen-ji, which is also really convenient. And if you live in Higashiyama, this will be very convenient for you to visit again. But there's not a lot of people, and there's a lot of shade, so it's not really going to be that hot. Because we went there, it was 37. But overall, yeah. A less visited temple, but also a great one. Next up is the great Nanzen-ji. So the massive triple gate is a living Instagram fame, and whilst yes, you can take Instagram pictures on it, why wouldn't you admire the cultural beauty and historical background as opposed to Instagram pictures and vandalizing these temples with selfies? That's an exaggeration, but climb through the narrow staircase with skylines inside. The rock garden whispers stillness, and the sub-temple Tenju-an though a modest extra fee delivers koi-filled ponds, lotus leaves, and lost babies. That was an incident we had, but it's straight up a scroll painting. And this temple, built in the 1300s and before some parts in the 700s, is truly a sight to behold. It's grand and great. There's a garden, a lookout, a back temple, another garden, and a blue bottle cafe with a pretty good coolish shop. Speaking of convenience, nearby is the Kyoto metro station, Kaige, and it's only 680 meters away. So it's really easy to access that by transit. At Eikandō, just 5 minutes walk away, you get on the Great Walk on the Philosopher's Walk of Japan, which is really cool. So overall, 8 out of 10. Great experience. We'll visit again soon. And rounding out the must-see areas, Katsuo-ji in neighboring Osaka. Minoo is an 8 out of 10. Now this may be a little far, but for Kyoto, hear me out. You can get there in about an hour just worth of transit. This is the beauty of Japan. That's how amazing Japanese transit is. This is like 3 hours in America. You can either take the Shinkansen for 15 minutes to Osaka and then transfer onto the Midosuji line and walk up north, or you can take a JR line and then take a bus. Many ways to get there, or you can just drive, but yeah, why would you drive? This is Japan. Thousands of red daruma dolls stare right back at you from misty ridges. Arrive at dawn and watch dragon fog slide over the reflecting pool. This is a surreal temple. I've never seen anything with so much daruma dolls in my life. This one is a gold mine for all of you Japanese cultural heritage and folklore enjoyers, because who has ever seen any daruma dolls in their life anywhere? Anyone, this is great. Totally recommend wishing here. Anyways, onto the worth the journey picks. So do you have extra time? Maybe at these, solid temples. First is Hillside in Arashiyama, which is actually a riverside hermitage where the window frames border the Katsura River. Like living art, basically. Sunrise is recommended here, but also autumn. But since we're basing off of summer vibes, this one is also pretty great in the summer. This one actually has reflecting windows, and this is the main reason why you want to come here. But it's a bit small and out of the way, so, not really the largest sight to behold. Overall, the vibes are great. It's just not that worth it because you're going to miss it, not going to miss out, and you're going to miss out on about 20 minutes. So, this one is a 7 out of 10. Now, Otaki Nembutsuji, another 7 out of 10. For those who appreciate history, this one might not be a true awakening. But it's still pretty worth visiting if you appreciate modern architecture as well, because this one is built in more modern times. 500 meme-worthy Rakan statues. The stone path down to Sakano Fields. Like a stroll through history will preserve Arashiyama Street. Although not very long and definitely very heated because it was 37 degrees. This one is definitely worth it if you like memes and guys with sunglasses. Finally, Katsura Imperial Villa, a 7 out of 10. This one is cool. And it's definitely not where it definitely does have any crowds. But the thing is, in turn for trading, the crowds, it's kind of hard to access via train and you have to reservation in advance. And there's a lot of, complications when visiting here, such as having your passport and all that. So it might not be an easy stroll in, like say Nanzen-ji or Sanzen-in, but lottery reservation guide required. But every turn is designated for a new garden. Every turn is a grandiose new picture painted right from a scroll. Would definitely recommend if you get in Katsura Imperial Villa. They say one poem every step, and that is very true. If you turn around the corner, it's like you entered another dimension, but in the good way. Also, the emperor lived here, so that's kind of important. Now, Ryoan-ji. Ryoan-ji is a 6 out of 10 off-season in the autumn and in the spring and in the winter. This one is really beautiful. But in the summer, unfortunately, it's just not as worth as the other seasons. It's just a lot of green. It's a bit out of the way, so there's not going to be a lot of transit access. But it has an iconic rock garden without blossoms or maples. It can feel underwhelming still. The Miracom palm redeems the trip. And the bonsai trees look like an alien garden. You can find bonsai trees in a lot of places though, so yeah, not really too worth it. Also, the rock garden is a bit of a tricky thing to do because I literally saw all the 15 stones at once. Trust me, if you stand at the top right, okay, don't tell anyone about this. If you stand near the top, right angle just a little above the rock garden, you can see all 15 stones. If you try to harden up mentally, just a little thing, don't tell everybody else, okay? Finally is Tenju-ji, which unfortunately for me personally gets a 5 out of 10. Now, a lot of you do like this temple, but for my experience when I went, there was blistering like 37 degrees. I said this 37 times, but in Kyoto, you'll want to visit a little later, like in August. But otherwise, anything that can be found here, can also be found at any other temple. If you're a history fanatic, yes, you would want to come here for the trade that still happened in the past, and all the deals and all the importance of Tenju-ji for the Japanese Ming trade. But overall, the temple itself isn't that overwhelming. Still a good visit, though. Maybe it's UNESCO World Heritage, but inner peace, not so much. The crowds here feel like Shibuya, unfortunately. It might be even busier than Shibuya. Hell, and finally I passed on some other spots. The first is the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. When I went there, it was like Tenryuji and Shibuya and Shinjuku Station combined. So it's a very short walk there and very crowded. I would recommend visiting in, some off section somewhere else in Japan, nearly in, Chugoku or even Kanto. And finally, we have Nishiki Market. Well, Nishiki Market is definitely great for tourism or, better street food. One block over in the South Shimogi wall. There's a lot of crowds, but there's a lot of other markets that you can go to, including anywhere in Osaka that is probably a lot better than Nishiki Market. For my opinion, anyways. Kyoto is not really worth everything from the street food. That's more of an Osaka thing. Anyways, fast tips. In conclusion, book Saihō-ji and Katsura Villa, 4 weeks out. You better beat the crowds by entering a gate open around 7 or 8 p.m. Sorry, not p.m., a.m. Anyways, Kyoto buses are really, 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 really slow. So grab a subway day pass and splurge on short taxis or Uber if you have Uber, but that's a bit expensive. Anyways, camera nerds, grab a pack wide angle for Sanzen-in's bridges, a pocket 3 or maybe an ND filter to make that moss glow. Above all, switch to silent shutter because tempo etiquette matters. Speaking of etiquette, it's very important to consider what you should not do when visiting Japan, and especially Kyoto, because these are definitely sacred heritage sites. So first of all, keep the noise down. We've seen a lot of loud tourists in Japan. This is very disrespectful to Japanese culture in general, as everybody in here values having, a quiet time. Don't be like a stereotypical American tourist. Respect cultural norms and cultural habits. This is why over-tourism is a problem. Please don't wear your dirty shoes on the tatami mats. Period. What makes Kyoto so magnetic? So picture this. Steve Jobs sitting in silence. As moss carpets surround him, they're shimmering of light. At Saihō-ji, a backpacker that we met, following cherry blossoms, showing down the philosopher's path. Suddenly understanding why she traveled so far, halfway around the world. These are examples of those who walk within the streets of the city, revealing its secret. Ancient temples echo throughout the city, then fade into bird songs. A single ray of sunlight creeps across the tatami mats. The Tamagawa River flows past weathered wooden buildings that have watched centuries pass. In Kyoto, your senses come alive. Sweet chestnuts sizzling on street corners. The bitter punch of ceremonial matcha, and wagyu beef also sizzling, but even louder than the chestnuts, that even the monks look up from their prayers. Yummy. This isn't just history trapped behind museum glasses. In Kyoto, the past lives and breathes alongside the present. Tradition isn't preserved, it's practiced every moment. You can take modern trains to get to the historical temples. It's truly a living contradiction. And that is great. And that's what keeps pulling me back. And maybe, just maybe, that will capture you as well. So if today's guide really helped, hit the like button, share your own secret spots below, and subscribe for more generous geo-curious adventures. See you at the next temple gate, maybe in Tokyo, for our next video. Cue the outro.
じ道を渡る。あなたの心にも明かりが灯る。